Are you truly living your life? Or are you just a fading supporting character in someone else's play? Be honest. How many nights have you stayed awake just waiting for a green dot on a screen, while tomorrow represents your own future? That isn't love. It is self-betrayal. You've turned yourself into a puppet, letting someone else pull your emotional strings with a single tap on a screen. At Stoic Journey, we don't offer cheap comfort. We're here to cut those strings and reclaim the key to your peace, the one you handed to someone who never valued it. If you are tired of being a backup plan, subscribe and walk with us. Leave a comment saying, "I have stopped waiting," as a vow that you are no longer a beggar for attention. Like and share this so this Stoic torch can reach those still lost in the maze of infatuation. Look at your hands. Are they shaking from exhaustion or from trying to hold on to a shadow that has already slipped away? The cold truth is, in this game, the more you chase, the further they retreat. When you respond instantly while they take all day to drop a lukewarm sentence, you label your own value as guaranteed. Don't fear that silence will lose them. You cannot lose what never belonged to you. You are only losing your dignity in a thirst for validation. True power doesn't lie in what you do to attract them, but in what you stop doing. Step out of the spotlight you've been performing in just to please them. Reclaim your energy and pour it back into your parched soul. Silence is not a petty trick for revenge. It is a proud boundary, declaring that your time is a private empire. When you vanish into stillness, uncertainty creates a mental friction that forces those who ignored you to question their own standing. But remember, the ultimate goal is not to get them back. The goal is to realize that whether they return or not no longer matters, because you have found freedom in your own absence. Hold that silence, because right now, I will show you how to turn absence into a type of power that breeds obsession. 1. The reality shock. Look at your hands again. Are they trembling because you've spent too many nights dissecting every comma and period in a text message, hoping to find a shred of warmth in the crumbs of attention they throw your way? The bitter truth is, in this pursuit, the more you chase, the further they run. You have unintentionally handed them the key to your joy and sorrow, turning yourself into a chess piece waiting to be moved at someone else's whim. Imagine someone who is always there whenever called, always responding immediately, even when the other person takes a day to mutter an indifferent word. In their eyes, you aren't a priority. You are an expectation, and expectations are met with contempt. When you are always present as a backup plan, you strip yourself of the right to be cherished. Today, the meaningless chase ends. You don't need a loud announcement or fancy explanations. You simply step back. Walk off the stage where you've been trying so hard to play the perfect role for them. This silence is a necessary pause for your soul to recover. It is a cold but proud boundary that tells the world, my time and emotions are an empire, and I will not open the gates for those who only wish to wander through and leave. When you vanish into the darkness of silence, those who took your presence for granted will begin to feel the chill of emptiness. They will look at their screens, wondering why that familiar shadow is no longer pursuing them. That uncertainty is the mental friction that forces them to reevaluate you. But these are just the first tremors of the collapse. Do you have the courage to maintain this silence when the first apologetic messages arrive? Stay a little longer, because the next chapter will show you how to turn your absence into a power that makes others crave you to the point of obsession. 2. Cutting the strings of manipulation. The silence you have just established is not a dead wall. It is a filter, designed to retain what is worthy and discard the noise that drains your soul. Real change begins the moment you decide to kill the smoldering thirst for attention within you. Be honest. That restlessness when you stare at your phone, waiting for a green dot or a notification, is a form of spiritual slavery. You are treating your phone like a slot machine, gambling your self-esteem on every grueling second of waiting. When you are always available, always responding instantly, you send a weak signal that your time is worthless. People will never cherish something they can possess too easily without any effort. To flip the script, you must learn to keep them in the dark. Do not be an open book that anyone can flip through with boredom. Mystery is the ultimate mental friction. It is what forces the other person to wonder, what are they doing? Or, why aren't they looking for me anymore? Look at everyday reality. A friend calls you at 10 p.m. to grab drinks just because they are bored, and you immediately jump up to get changed. You think that's being enthusiastic, but in their eyes, you are just someone with too much time on your hands. Next time, try saying no without offering a single word of explanation or justification. The fact that you feel the need to explain is a subconscious form of asking for permission, as if you are saying, "Is it okay if I do this?" A master of their own life does not need anyone's permission to protect their boundaries. My perspective on this transformation is not about turning you into a cold, unfeeling statue, but about helping you reach a state of absolute autonomy. The true value of a man or a woman does not lie in how many people pursue them, but in the ability to stand firm alone and still feel complete. When you stop orbiting someone else's gravity and start building your own empire, you cease to be a seeker and become a magnet. You don't try to be noticed. You simply become too radiant to be ignored. But beware, this is the most dangerous stage. When you first withdraw, they will throw you a few breadcrumbs of attention to test if you are still an easy puppet to control. If you rush to grab them, all your progress will vanish like smoke. Do not let fleeting emotions shatter the proud stillness you have worked so hard to build. Keep your breath slow, your eyes steady, and continue walking in the shadows of silent growth. Because just ahead, when your absence becomes an unfillable void, you will witness a shocking truth about the power of silence. A secret I will reveal in the next part of this journey. 3. How to become a magnet. Now we enter the most critical stage of the shift, becoming a magnet instead of a hunter. You must understand that a magnet never chases scraps of iron. It simply stands firm in its position and lets its internal force do the rest of the work. When you stop chasing, you stop broadcasting signals of desperation, that scent of thirst which repels respect faster than anything else. The truth is, humans do not value what they acquire too easily. If you are always available, always on standby, you are nothing more than a blurred backup plan. But when you focus all your energy on building your personal empire, you create an irresistible pull. This transformation begins with a comprehensive glow-up from deep within. It's not just about hitting the gym or wearing better clothes. It's about finding fulfillment in your own soul. Consider a real-world example. When you stop staring at your phone waiting for a name to pop up and instead spend those 2 hours truly immersed in a business project, a new skill, or simply enjoying a quiet evening with yourself. In that moment, your energy is no longer radiating outward to beg for attention. It is being compressed, forming a solid, unshakable core. It is precisely this not needing that becomes the most desirable trait. They will begin to wonder, what made them so radiant and self-assured without me? The most profound perspective we must etch into our minds is emotional independence. You become untouchable when your joy is no longer tucked away in someone else's pocket. When they throw you those tiny breadcrumbs of attention to test you, you no longer snatch them up like a starving person. You stand firm, calm, and proud. Your silence is no longer a punishment. It is proof that you have truly walked away from their game. You don't need to defeat them because you have chosen a bigger game, the game of mastering your own destiny. This is when the script of your life is completely rewritten. You are no longer a supporting character lurking in the shadows, waiting for a line to be granted to you. You are the protagonist, brilliant and authoritative in your own world. And believe me, when you reach the state where it no longer matters whether they return or not, that is exactly when they will begin to chase you most frantically. But by the time they realize the value of the magnet they lost, you will likely be on a different level entirely, where the noisy echoes of the past can no longer reach you. True freedom isn't found in being loved back. It's found in no longer needing that love to feel worthy. Let them stand there, in the shadows of regret, wondering what truly happened, behind the door that you have permanently closed. 4. Establishing steel boundaries and the power of silence. As the pull of a magnet begins to take shape, the true test lies not in how many people you attract, but in how many unworthy things you dare to reject. It is time to raise your standards and absolutely refuse to accept breadcrumbs of attention from anyone. Remember this cold truth: people treat you exactly the way you allow them to. If you continue to nod at late-night invitations or accept prolonged silences only to welcome them back with open arms, you are dragging your own value down to the bargain bin. A master of the self never compromises to become a backup plan or an emotional safety net for someone else. True power now resides in a firm, calm no. Our biggest mistake is often feeling the need to justify every decision. Why we didn't reply immediately, or why we declined a date. Understand this. Every explanation is a subconscious form of seeking permission, as if you are asking the other person to validate your choices. When you stop explaining, you reclaim all your power. Your silence becomes a boundary of steel that no one can cross. If someone asks why you didn't respond, a simple, "I was busy," is more than enough. No details, no justifications. This is the stage where you become emotionally untouchable. Others may throw out interference signals just to see if you are still an easy puppet to manipulate. They want to see you react, lash out, or complain because that is how they maintain their grip. But when you refuse to react, their game ends. You keep the surface of your inner lake undisturbed, refusing to let any of their actions or their absences dictate the rhythm of your breath. This freedom is the ultimate victory. The moment you realize you are the sole author of the next chapter of your life, and you don't need anyone to approve the manuscript. Do not look back to see who is chasing you, and do not wait for a belated apology. When you stand at the peak of self-mastery, the sounds of the past are nothing more than the wind whistling through a distant valley, a place you have left forever to become the most powerful version of yourself. 5. The psychology of the void. Over-presence is the graveyard of appreciation. When you are always there, always available like a commodity on a shelf, you become so predictable that you turn tedious, gradually losing value in the eyes of others. Imagine a piece of music consisting only of continuous high notes. It soon becomes noise that people want to silence. Music only truly haunts the soul when there are sudden silences that make the listener's heart skip a beat. Your abrupt silence and withdrawal are not acts of retreat. They are the creation of an energy void, a psychological black hole that the human mind simply cannot ignore. The human psyche inherently abhors ambiguity. In the empty space you have just established, their comfort and overconfidence begin to crumble at the roots. When easy information is no longer available to exploit, they are forced to fill the blanks with a series of doubting questions. Why aren't they chasing me anymore? Have they found someone better? Or have I actually lost them? It is like a key you use every day without a second thought until the morning you wake up and it's missing. Suddenly, you are frantic, feeling a strange sense of emptiness and insecurity. This is mental friction, a hidden pressure that breeds obsession, forcing them to re-examine every memory and analyze your past actions just to find an answer for your disappearance. True strength in this phase does not lie in doing more to get noticed, but in your resolute decision to stop doing. When you stop explaining, stop responding, and stop providing your guaranteed presence, your silence automatically becomes your loudest, coldest, and most expensive message. You are no longer a beggar for validation. You are the one redefining the entire rules of the game through your proud absence. Let that uncertainty gnaw at their arrogance. Within the darkness of that curiosity, your status is quietly being restored at a completely different magnitude. But remember, this black hole only has a true gravitational pull when you are no longer standing on the edge watching for their reaction, but have actually walked away to build your own world. Do you know what happens when someone used to being pampered suddenly realizes they are no longer the center of your universe? The answer lies in the power shift we are about to deconstruct, where your absence becomes a force that makes others crave you to the point of suffocation. This final chapter brings the journey full circle, from being a puppet to becoming the master of your own empire. Here is the translation for the conclusion. 6. The strategy of counter-momentum. The biggest mistake many people make is thinking that silence and withdrawal are enough. But if you step back only to hold your breath, waiting for a reaction, you are still a puppet on a string. That waiting is a form of silent submission. You have traded chasing for standing still, but your mind is still shackled to someone else's shadow. Your energy is still directed toward them, and they can sense it, even in your stillness. Remember, the goal is not to make them regret losing you. It is to make their regret utterly meaningless to you. This is when we build counter-momentum. When you step back from them, do not stand still. Instead, move rapidly toward the goals you long ago abandoned. Treat this silence as a construction site for your personal empire. Instead of spending hours decoding lukewarm messages, use that time to sharpen your intellect, forge your body, and elevate your career. Imagine a weekend night where, instead of waiting for a late-night invite, you are deep into a book or perfecting the business plan you've always craved. At this point, you aren't staying silent to punish them. You are doing it to concentrate all your resources into creating a life so brilliant that no one's presence or absence is a requirement for your happiness. True power emerges when you reach a state of self-validation. Once you have built value from within, you no longer need a nod or a compliment from the outside to feel significant. You become unshakable and untouchable because your joy is no longer held in someone else's hands. This is true freedom. Not winning a romance, but winning the war against your own dependency. This transformation doesn't need to be loud. It is a silent but potent metamorphosis. And believe me, once you are in the heart of your own empire, radiant and self-assured, the day they come back looking for you will surely arrive. But in that moment, you will realize a shocking truth. You have moved too far ahead to care if they can catch up. The ultimate victory isn't in their regret. It is in the fact that you found yourself in that proud stillness. The journey we have just taken is not a manual of manipulation or a guide on how to win a petty game of hearts. The core message you must take away is inner freedom. The entire power of stepping back, staying silent, and upgrading yourself is not aimed at making someone regret or chase you. It is to make you realize a profound truth. Your value has never and will never depend on anyone else's attention. When you stop playing the hunter and become the magnet, you aren't just changing your status in their eyes. You are leading a revolution in your own soul. Real victory isn't the moment they send an apologetic text. It's the moment you look at your phone and realize their appearance no longer dictates your happiness. You are the author of your next chapter, a chapter of autonomy, brilliance, and unshakable strength. Don't just listen to these words as a temporary sedative. Let them become your bone and your breath. If you are ready to shed your puppet strings and walk the path of a destiny master, join Stoic Journey. Subscribe and like this video to help us build a community of solid souls, those who choose dignity over begging. Leave a comment below with the message, "I attract, I do not chase," as a milestone marking the return of power to your hands. Share this message with those still lost in the darkness of dependency, so they too can find the light of freedom. Now, turn off this screen. Step out into the world with a cool head and a quiet heart. Let them wonder where you've gone. As for you, keep shining in your own empire. Because when you are truly a magnet, the world has no choice but to revolve around the value you have created.